So this is normally how we would like to work, right? We sit in a room all by ourselves, sitting on a laptop and just match the shit out of people. We just sit there and Xbar works perfect and we just get shit done by typing in and by calling and by matching people. Well, even though this is quite an interesting idea, we have people that we need to work with. That means we can only make sure that the machine is running and running and running by making sure that we work with other people, because only with other people we can increase our leverage, our range of how much we are able to do. Well, and when we want to do interface meetings, normally the reaction is like that. Well, to make sure that you stand up and love interface meetings in the future, we will now talk about interface meetings with talent management and answering your questions. How do we do that? So, why do we need interface meetings with talent management? Well, the reason is pretty simple. First thing is, we want to create better working teams. That is something we all want, right? We want to have a team that is working and performing quite good, that is focusing on a certain goal and goes from point A to point B. The point is just that normally we are not experienced enough to do that on our own when we are fresh and new team leaders or EBVPs. But talent management has the right skill set and information to support everyone to create better teams through, for example, better implemented team standards. By doing so, we create better membership experiences. So we can make sure that every single member, not only the whole team, but every single member goes through a good membership journey, and like that enables and creates better customer experiences for our EPs. Because it is the member who makes the customer experience happen. And by having a great membership experience, he will enable an even as good customer experience. But how do we do it? That's a good question, and the first thing I have to point out there is you need to check in. That means you need to talk to each other. That means you just call your VP, TM, IGT, whatsoever, and schedule a meeting. The whole framework for it, so the rough data, is that then you should meet weekly, or when it is absolutely not possible for this week to have a meeting, to have a bi-weekly meeting, and that should last around 30 minutes to 1 hour. Depends on how much you have to talk about, what your current state of your team is, and then you just focus on the overview of your team performance, so to get a whole overview, and secondly to focus on improving the performance and the experience of every single member that you have. Well, you might ask, okay, this was a bit broad. Now we go into a bit more detailed stuff. And that is the agenda. Yes, you will now see a rough agenda that you can go through to make sure that the most important points of the whole interface meeting is covered. So, first thing is, have a personal check-in. That should be kind of clear. Only through trust to each other we can make sure that the interface meetings will be honest and open. Second thing, you just brief yourself what the overall current state of the team is, and you go through the actions that happened through the last week. to get an overview and to make sure that your colleagues or so the person you're talking to knows what all this stuff is about. That also means to go through your tracking tool and to go through all numbers that you have. Second thing is to analyze the individual member performance and individual member experience. So that means you check out every single member you have. First thing is to go through your plan and achieved member KPIs. Means you just check out, okay, what were the things that my member should have done in the last week? And did he achieve his KPIs during that week? Then, according to that, you evaluate what your individual member is needing. That means you check out, okay, he didn't cold enough, or out of 5 cold calls, he just did 2. Why did this happen? And how can I make sure that he will achieve the goal that he sets for himself? This is also the point where team standards are coming in, right? So you need to make sure that the whole team standards are covered during that point. Third point, define clear actions for team management. Because only when you define clear actions, you can make sure that something will happen either during the next week or in a long-term perspective during the next month or during the next 3 months, etc. This is, by the way, also a point where team standards are important, because that is the space where you need to define clear team standards actions that need to happen during the next week, for example. And fourth, sum it up. Once again, point out the actions and the KPIs talent management will track you on for the next interface meeting. So, because we want to measure it, because you can't manage what you can't measure, ask yourself these 3 questions after this meeting so you can make sure that the meeting was really meaningful. First thing is, and that is something we should ask ourselves always, did the meeting contribute to exchange, or did you just talk about, I don't know, anything not exchange related? Second thing is, did you follow up on the actions of the last week, or did you just focus too much on the current state, or just too much on the future? Because you can only learn something when you learn from your mistakes or from the things that happened in the past. Third thing, do you as VP or team leader has clear actions for the next week? And only then you can be absolutely sure that you will make exchange happen through actions. But as you know, that was a lot of talking, but Hulk knows pretty well he don't like talking, he just like action. So we now go to actions. Actions. Okay, what to do next? I give you now a super simple 3 steps action plan that you can follow right away. I mean, right in this moment, you can just do this action plan. So let us start. First thing is grab a phone. I mean it seriously. Grab a phone, grab your smartphone, and have it in your hand. Open it up and enter your password. Second thing, dial the number of your EBVP when you are a TM responsible. That can be a VPTM or any TM member who is the responsible of a certain EBVP or functional team. Or again, when you are a TM responsible, just dial your number of your EBVP colleagues. Third thing, and that is the most important one, schedule your first interface meeting now. This is the most important step of it all. You just need to have a talk. You need to talk to each other about team management, about team standards. whatsoever, but you need to talk to each other. And when you do this, normally things will work out. But this is the most important step, so just get started now. And everything else will come. And with that, I thank all of you for your attention and thank you for watching this episode of the Team Standard Support Hub. If you have any questions left, just leave me a mail of pascal.boise@isaac.de or just contact me on Slack. Same goes for feedback. And yes, I thank you and see you around on the next episode of the Team Standards Support Hub.